JF Stretford, Paddock. This is The Brew. Joining me, I've got two absolute legends of the Manchester United fan base. Mr. Andy Tate, you all right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool?
Yeah,
I like it.
up.
Just got up. Hey, I can't really have a dig at you because I know you've been doing nights. And James Young, how are we doing?
Yeah, not bad. Traffic's terrible in town because the Conservative Party are in Manchester, which is dreadful. But apart from that, doing well.
Boot them out. Get back. Go back south.
It's only took 30 seconds for this to get very political. We're going to be talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. He's been talking to the media ahead of the game against Everton tomorrow. Obviously, as you can gather from the thumbnail as well, Donny van der Beek, the topic that just won't go away. It seems like we're becoming Donny van der Beek FC at the minute. But he's been addressing concerns, questions, issues, whatever you want to call them, about whether Donny van der Beek is unhappy and whether that unhappiness means he's on his way out. Also, be talking a little bit about Cristiano Ronaldo. There's some reports about Ronaldo telling him what to do or telling him to get the ball quicker, so he's been speaking about that as well. And we'll be looking a little bit about other players, because it's not just about Donny van der Beek. We're talking about other players as well, including your favourite, Fred. Before we get into all that, do hit like, do hit share, do hit subscribe as well. We want to get 700,000 subscribers even. We're on 608,000, I think, last time I checked. So come on, we'll get 700,000 by the end of the season. Right, let's have a look at some of the quotes even and the comments. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been asked about Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek, we saw it the other night against Villarreal. I spoke about it this morning on the news, and it's still ongoing, this. He seemed to show his frustration when he realised he wasn't going to come off the subs bench onto the pitch when Fred, I think, was it Fred and Matic who came on at the same time?
Yeah.
Or Lingard?
Lingard, yeah.
Yeah, Fred and Lingard came on. It was obvious that was there was no more subs being made, and he sort of took his bib off, and in a way that sort of showed his frustration. You could see he was annoyed. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been addressing that, as you saw from the graphic a minute ago. And he said, Donny was ready to come on. I've been sub more than anyone in his club, probably. I must have a record appearance as a sub, and you have to be ready all the time. I've been unhappy a few times. And then he goes on to say about that his decision a manager makes. I understand frustration. Every player is keen to play when they get on. Show me, not just Donny, everyone. Donny has never affected teammates negatively. So there was, some sort of rumours going around or reports that maybe, that was going to be, he was going to upset everyone. And then he goes on to say as well about understand his frustration. But that's, he's got into determination. It's not just about Donny, but all players. We need to have positive energy. So as soon as I see players affecting the team negatively, then that's a different scenario, and I'll probably be firmer. So he's sort of saying that's not affecting everyone negatively or anyone negatively. Donny van der Beek's frustration, and he doesn't seem to have an issue with it. I mean, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. He's very good, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, at putting on a united front and maybe doing things differently behind closed doors. Andy, I'll start with you. What did you make of the whole Donny situation?
I probably bubblegum run out of flavour.
Yeah, because there's that bit as well about him
if
flicking.
It's not watermelon flavour. What's the point?
Flicking his chewing gum or something.
Yeah, flicking his chewing gum, throwing it down. The flavour ran out. But I want to see stuff like that. I want to see players who actually care, who want to play for this club, and it was good to see, and it's quite refreshing. So you get players at other clubs who are just quite happily to sit on the bench and pick up a pay packet.
Yeah, so you don't mind a bit of that, bit of
don't mind it.
annoyance.
I want to see it. I want to see the team's too pally-pally. I want to see a bit of anger between people, but in a positive anger. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I want to play, I want to play. We all argue with each other. Well, I want to see stuff like that.
James, what do you make of it all? Do you think this is a bit of a storm in a teacup? Do you want to see Donny van der Beek start? Do you think, and like Andy says, you want to see players with a bit of passion?
Yeah, but the thing is with Van der Beek, I think he's had a few chances, and I think the issue is with United during the week. Obviously, Fred and McTominay, I don't even want to get into that because there's a lot of debate around whether they should be playing together or not. But I think, obviously, Van der Beek is a great player when he's at his peak. We saw when he was at Ajax, he was an amazing player. He helped Ajax get to the Champions League semi-final. They probably should have got to the final, actually. And they had a really good team, and he was a big part of that. But I think United's system has to work around him, if that makes sense, because the way that United play, if he doesn't fit into that and he's not a part of that, then is there a place for him in the team? I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one there. Mike Smalling in the chat says, give it Giggsy to end its season, as a famous man once said. It is weird because where do you stand on it, Andy, in terms of his chances? Do you think he's had enough chances, or do you not think he's had enough?
I don't think he's had enough. I mean, he played really well in the Carabao Cup against West Ham. That was my opinion.
Yep.
And what's your rewards? I said this last 2 games. Oh, you're back on the bench, lad. You know, take it like a man and stop crying. You know what I mean? But look, you've played McFred, you've played Pogba, Tommy. Both have not worked. At least try it. And if it doesn't work, then like you're back to square one. Fair enough. But at least you've got an option there. Utilise your squad. Use it. Because there's still nothing there. Last 2 home games, we've been put. There's nothing there from that midfield to supply them killer passes. To go to help Ronaldo, to help Fernandes. There's nothing there. They stop, and they go back again. Go back. There's nothing there. And I want to see that killer pass. I want to see that pass that goes to the winger.
Get involved in the comments in the chat. We'll get some of your super chats in a minute. You mentioned something there about killer passes. There were reports doing the rounds that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Cristiano Ronaldo had a bit of a chat, and Ronaldo wasn't happy about the speed in which the ball was getting played to him. Ole was asked about that today, about whether, can you comment on reports on Cristiano Ronaldo telling you to move the ball quicker or telling the players to move the ball quicker? And Ole said, wow, what can you answer to that? What we speak about, that's between us. We've not had that discussion, to put it that way. And I think he was laughing as well. I don't think he's saying they've not had a discussion about Ronaldo saying, give me the ball quicker or whatever. He also went on to say about Ronaldo, he had a great impact on and off the pitch. 5 goals in 5 games at his age says everything. You've got to manage him. He's a very good example for everyone. Before I get to you, Younger, I'll just go through a couple of the chats. Nate H says his chances come weeks apart. McFred, all matches, so I think he's saying about Donny there. He's not getting a consistent run. Matt Leonard says the margin for victory is too fine for Ole to give him his due at the minute, which is what's killing Van der Beek. If we had more 3-0s at 70 minutes, Van der Beek will be on more. Younger, do you think Donny suffers from a little bit from the fact that he's only getting these chances when he's not necessarily playing amongst the best players as well? Because we saw him, I know he did play against Leicester in the Cup, but against Leicester in the league when he started, it was our reserve team, wasn't it?
I think so, but are you not bored of the whole thing? Because I just feel like we're going around in circles with Van der Beek.
Yeah.
He gets a chance, he plays okay, he doesn't really impress that much, and then people say, well, why don't you play him? Well, okay, yeah, he's not had probably the right amount of minutes to get a run of games, but I don't know. I'm just bored of it, honestly. It's the same thing with the Solskjaer thing. It's like people just want this to go on and on and on. I think hopefully we'll get to a point with Van der Beek where it'll end. He's either good or he's not. We'll either sell him or he'll still stick around and he'll play well in the team, and that'll be the end of it. And it feels like at the minute on Twitter and other things, it just keeps on going round in circles, and there's no end to just these pointless arguments almost.
There's no end to fucking McFred, is there, as well? So there's the other point. That's going to go fucking on into a void of abyss of nothingness.
What do you mean by that?
It'll fucking play. Because if we carry on playing that, nothing's happening. Our chances of doing something this season are getting fractured and nothing's happening. It's going to go, it'll come round. It's an everlasting circle, isn't it?
So what you're saying, you don't think, you want to see Donny start instead of who, sorry?
I want to see Donny. Give him a chance. At least try it. That's all I'm saying. Try it.
Who would you drop for Donny van der Beek?
I'll try Pogba and Donny. I'll try Pogba and Donny and see where it goes from there.
So, sorry, if you're like in your midfield setup, would you have 2 holding midfielders? Would you have 1 holding midfielder? How would you have it if you...
I'd have 2 holding midfilders. I'd try Donny and Pogba and see where you go from there.
You played Pogba deeper then, as a sort of holding midfielder alongside Donny van der Beek?
Yeah.
Barath, forgive me, I've got that completely wrong. Do you guys really think Ole will play Prime, Iniesta and Busquets over McFred? Because I've never, ever seen Iniesta and Busquets run like Duracell bunnies. So yeah, he's obviously not a big fan of McFred, or thinks that Ole's just going to play them two no matter what. I'll have a look at some of the other comments to say.
Sorry, someone said cough once if you're being held hostage. So obviously this is a hostage situation, and I can't leave.
Yes, there you go. Have you coughed?
There we go.
There you go.
There you go. Hostage situation.
Disciple of Ole said, I got McFred starting tomorrow. Not saying that's right. That's my prediction. I think a lot of people probably agree with you. McFred, Ole out. I think, a lot of people some people agree with you, Andy, some people not so
I'm
sure.
clueless about football, mate. Well, what, you sat behind a keyboard?
Yes.
You go to games, do you see stuff? whoever you are. All passion, no idea. I've been going for 37 years, mate. Where have you been last 20 years? Hey, sat behind a computer.
Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It doesn't matter if they agree with you or if they don't go to games. It's not that particularly that matters. What I think is fair is that everyone's sort of got an opinion on Fred, on McTominay, on Donny van de Beek for one reason, and that's because we're not getting the results we should be getting. If we were winning football matches, we wouldn't even be having this discussion, but we're not. And I think that's the big problem people look at. You go, we've had 3 defeats already this season. Okay, we've got 13 points, which isn't the end of the world, but who have we played? We haven't played any of the top 4 from last season.
But do you not think the Villarreal game was like almost like a spark that's going to ignite United? Because
jeez, man, I was saying that under David Moyes. I'm not saying
I know, but right,
you know what I mean, like you get a result, it's like this is it. This is a catalyst.
Yeah, I know.
You might be right, bro. I hope you are, and we might go on a 10-game winning run.
But what I was going to say was, do you not think it's what's known as in business and economics as a dead cat bounce? When essentially when the stocks are crashing, they go up a small bit because they fiddle with something and then just drop back down again. And I just hope that doesn't happen with United. And I think Everton on the weekend, if United play well and they get a positive result, then I hope they can just sort of move on, because I think especially with Ronaldo now as well and Varane, there's more character in the dressing room that wasn't there last season. And hopefully some of the more senior players as well just lift the team up a bit more and just manage to get some more results and push on, because I think Everton next as well. The games that worry me are more, we've got Liverpool and City after that. If United still play as sluggish as they are at the minute, then, hope it doesn't play out as bad as it has been this season.
I'm going to mention Donny one more time, and I'm going to move on quickly, because I think we're all, like everyone said in the comments, you Andy and you James, we've all pretty much had enough of talking about it constantly. But what do you make of Jesse? Because there's a good argument to be said that if Jesse can force his way in, like, is there a case for Donny to do that? Because Jesse was the forgotten man, wasn't he? And he's had, 5 minutes, was it, against Newcastle or something? Did really well, got a goal, had a bit of a stinker against Young Boys, but then made up for it against West Ham as well. He sort of grabbed the bull by the horns. I know I'm coming out with all the cliches there. Do you think there's an element of maybe Donny could do that, or maybe should do that? Or do you think that that's just asking too much for someone who's on limited game time?
Just getting a chance, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you get the chance, seize it. That's fair enough. If he gets the chance Saturday, seize it. But to be fair to Lingard, I mean, he seized the moment, and he even played a part in the winner on Wednesday.
I think Lingard, he deserves a lot of credit, because I'm not going to pretend I'm sat here and I said it all through the summer. I thought he was going to go. I thought maybe he'd go back to West Ham or whatever, or maybe go abroad. But I'm glad he has stayed, because he's played his part. James, what do you reckon? Do you reckon Donny has to take those chances, or do you think he's not getting the chances enough to take?
Still talking about Van de Beek?
Yeah, just quickly.
Okay, right. Yeah, well, I kind of said what I want. He'll do all right. He might play well. This is the thing with Van de Beek. I'm just repeating myself now. Is that if he has a run of games in the team, I think that's when people can start judging him. But if he plays like he sort of is at the minute, where he comes on off the bench, he does okay, he needs to do more for me anyway to impress me. And I know that's difficult, because he's not had a run of games, he's not had a long spell in the squad, and I think that'll be it. If he gets 5-6 games where he can prove himself and he can say, right, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm going to play, then he's kind of got no excuses after that, and hopefully we'll never have to talk about him ever again.
Unless it's, him scoring the winner in the Champions League final for Manchester United Football Club. Parky_1712, who's been a member for 15 months of the first team. Thank you for your support. Much appreciated. If roles were reversed and Bruno or Pogba in Donny's situation, would they struggle to make an impression in those games the same way Donny has? Maybe, who knows? It's all conjecture in it. We'll just have to wait and see. I think with another one as well, Sabaray says, comparing Donny to Ole is unfair. Ole was back up to Cole, York, Rude, Berber, Rooney, CR7, and still got chance. Donny's left out for below average Fred. I think he's been a little bit tongue-in-cheek there, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he said I've had more substitute appearances than anyone. And it was a different era, wasn't it, obviously, with Sir Alex Ferguson.
I wouldn't take everything he's saying in his press conferences as gospel as well.
I know.
It's a press conference. The whole point is he's going to put a positive spin on things. He's not going to go in there and say, I hate Van de Beek, I'm never playing him again, and I want him to leave in January.
He sat in his press conference not long ago when we still had Alexis Sanchez on the books and he was on loan, saying, I want him to come back. And everyone knew that was nonsense. He knew Alexis Sanchez was never coming back to United, but he was still a United player, so he wasn't going to say, he's rubbish, but I hope him to bite him, because that's not what he does. He always sort of backs his players publicly. Glenn F, shout out to you, Jamie, man. Thank you. Do you want some good news? Because we've had enough. I think this is it's becoming like Marshall FC all over again, this stuff. It's doing me head in.
Yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been talking about Marcus Rashford. He said Marcus is fit. He worked really hard, but he's not had any contact. If his shoulder can take the contact now, he should be ready after the internationals. How much have we missed Marcus Rashford, do you feel, Andy?
Immense. Really missed him. And then, like I say, them balls that get played into the channels, he can latch onto him and hopefully, like I say, get some more goals. He's a vital part of the squad. I mean, he's fed the country. Bless him. He's had to go to politics. He's had heartbreak, like we all did. Club and country, so just get back to football.
Leader of the opposition.
Yeah, there's also... Yeah, he was, wasn't he? He also said about his... Marcus trained fully for the first time today with contact. There were a few tackles flying in on him and he seemed okay, which was nice to see. I mean, the other night against Villarreal was a prime example. Excuse me. And I think you can almost look at any loss we've had this season and you can see that Marcus would make a difference. No matter what, some of the sort of criticism I see levelled at other players, about effort and just not wanting the ball and not being willing to take risks. These are things you can't really level at Marcus Rashford. Yeah, you can level some criticism at it, obviously. But he's someone that, especially over the past couple of seasons, his numbers stand up to scrutiny. With Marcus, no matter what, as a bare minimum, he's going to give his all. He's been playing with injuries for a reason. He absolutely, lives and breathes Manchester United Football Club, and I can't wait to see him. And as you've been mentioning there, Andy, he's just the stuff he's done off the pitch is amazing. But whilst that's all well and good, and I'm pleased he's done it, and I'm proud of him doing it. My main reasons for wanting to see him back is he's a massive asset to Manchester United, and we need him. We need him on that. It's mad as well, right? Pitch.
His age, people still forget how young he is as well. Like he's got so much more to give to United, especially him and Greenwood. Like I think he will. Hopefully, he's not unlucky with injuries or that sort of thing. But if he continues in the form that he's in right now, I mean, we're going to be talking about someone that's going to score so many goals for United in the future and is going to play so many games. I think he's like and it sounds obvious this, but he's almost like a once-in-a-generation talent that comes through United's academy. We've had a few of them before, the likes of Will Keane that never really made it and other players as well. But it's mad that Midtjylland game in the Europa League, if Martial doesn't get injured, like, what happens?
Yeah.
It's always that thing, innit? People always say that. He got injured in the warm-up, didn't he? And it's like, I remember being at that game, and I remember as well, like, I didn't know a lot about Marcus Rashford. I barely heard of him when he started. I wasn't one of those that watched the academy as often as I used to. And I remember in the first half, there was some guys sat near us who they were levered, and they don't usually sit there, and they were just giving him a load of grief. And then in the second half, he just absolutely turned it up a notch. And ever since then, he's just, he's never really looked back. You look at his numbers over the last couple of seasons. It was 21 goals in all comps last season, 22 the season before. We know he's been carrying injury. If you could put, if Marcus can hit anywhere near around those numbers, I shouldn't say anywhere near, but around the 20 odd goals a season mark, that's going to matter, innit?
Yeah, I think he's going to be hungry as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the pain of losing 2 finals, it's going to drive him on. And you're looking at a winner like Ronaldo, and hopefully some of the other players look at Marcus now. He's been through pain. I don't want to go through that pain. I want to win stuff. And Marcus will, some of the players will look up to him. I say his mate Jaden Greenwood is his birthday by today as well.
Happy birthday to Mason.
Happy birthday, Mason.
Yeah.
It can only help the team and help the confidence of the players.
I think you make a good point as well. People forget that, the FA Cup final against Chelsea. I think a lot of us have put that to the back of our memories. But he has lost 2 finals. I know he's obviously won ones as well, but he'll be hungry for trophies, like you say. And a player of that talent,
he's coming to the point now. Was he 23, 24?
He's 20. He's 23 until he's
23.
Until he's 24. He's 24 this month, end of this month.
In the prime between 23 to 29, he wants trophies. He does.
And he's got a lot of people to prove wrong as well after the Euros too. I think that's the thing with Rashford. He's so hungry and he's so, I don't want to, desperate's the wrong word, but so many people were after him after he missed that penalty. And I think as well because he's been injured, he's not had that start to the season in the same way that Beckham did after '98, where he came back and that his debut, well not his debut, but his return against Leicester where he silenced everyone. Rashford's been unlucky that he's not almost been able to have that, so I think he's going to be desperate to come back at these away grounds, your West Hams, your sort of lower teams in the division that are really have a big England support. I'm sure he's going to love to score against them.
Yeah, definitely.
Some people may be wondering where Stephen Howson is as well. We'll have a little update there. We'll have a picture to show you where he is in a minute, because I know usually people are like, where's Steve? But people have got used to him. He's a bit sporadic on this.
He's a busy bunny.
He is a busy bunny, but if we can get a picture up on the screen, I'll give you a clue as to where he is. It's a bit of a heavy clue as to where he is as well. That'll be up with you shortly. Yeah, I mean, listen, I look at Marcus Rashford and I look at the numbers he's got and I look at the player he is just from watching him. You know, just put numbers to the side, just watch the talent he's got. And you think that, like you say, James, he's still only young. And look at some of the top goal scorers just throughout Premier League history. A lot of them, when they turn 24, that's a season that can, around that age, it's a season where they can really kick on. You look at the likes of Kane, you look at the likes of, even going back a bit further, the likes of Ian Wright. Rooney, example. Yeah, you know, they have these sort of spells where they explode in terms
Jamie
of goals.
Vardy did it.
Jamie Vardy was late, wasn't he, Jamie Vardy?
Yeah, he was like, he's like one of the freak ones.
I think when he was like Rashford's age, he would have been playing in like League One or something.
Fleetwood. Yeah, and he played in some team in Yorkshire in non-league.
Yeah,
I think it's Stocksbridge, just outside. Stocksbridge, just outside Sheffield.
Stocksbridge Park Steels.
There you go. Yeah. See, so there's plenty of time for Marcus Rashford, but I think now is the time. If that makes sense.
I think he's still one of the most expensive signings ever from non-league when he was at Fleetwood.
Really?
Yeah.
There was a time when Jamie Vardy was going to quit football, wasn't there?
There was a time Jamie Vardy was going to sign for Arsenal. I remember that, and he seriously considered it.
He saw the error,
and he stayed, and he won the Premier League. He's won the lot.
Yes. Oh, there you go. You can see that. You should be able to see that on your screen. There's a bit of a clue to where Stephen Howson is. I don't know. It's not much of a clue, and it's difficult to work out where he is there.
Well, the skyline's wrong, isn't it? The sky usually grey and dark.
Hey,
have you got him into one of those behind closed doors friendlies again?
I just don't get people into anything like that. But yeah, he's chilling with his new mate, some bloke called Rio Ferdinand. I think he's hanging around with. I don't know. I mean, come on. Why would you go and hang around with Rio Ferdinand when you can hang around with us?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? What's he got that we haven't, other than a load of Premier League titles and Champions Leagues and England caps? Reese Robinson says, Andy, how do you compare Varane to previous United centre-backs? Pass the live eye test for you?
I think Varane's looking good. He's had one or two mistakes, but yeah, once he's getting settled, I think, and he's getting settled fast, and sooner we get Luke Shaw and Maguire back, we can have a settled back 3 to 4.
James, what have you made of Varane? Because I was chatting at the game the other night with some of the lads, and we were getting very excited about Raphael Varane, just how good he is.
Yeah, no, but the thing is with United, especially the defence, and this is the same under Van Gaal, it was the same under Mourinho. United never really had a solid defensive partnership. You know, you go back to Ferguson where United had like Rio and Vidic and Stam and Bergen, and those sort of partnerships that really the bedrock of a title winning team is based upon. When United had Lindelof and Bailly, Maguire, there was never really a solid partnership that United have had. But since Varane's come in, I mean, he's up Maguire's game as well, because Maguire doesn't have to do as much now because he's got Varane next to him, and Varane's so assured as well. And in those big matches, he's just got that experience. I mean, people call him Champions League Varane because when he was at Real Madrid, and he was such a big part of those teams that got to Champions League finals and won them, because he's just got that energy and that commitment, and that for a big game player, he's very reliable. Someone like Bailly or a Rojo, they're not the type of player you want. If you think of a Champions League semi-final and you've got Bailly or Rojo as one of your centre-backs, it's more of a liability than Raphael against Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as well, when those players come in, sometimes, like Bailly or Rojo, we've all been guilty of it. They're good box office. Yeah. They fly into tackles.
Well, do you remember Rojo's Rabona against us?
Yeah. And I was there with the crowd going mental, and it's like, this is great, this is funny. And when Eric Bailly, when he comes in,
stop. What are you doing?
Like, he's clearing the ball with his back, and he's skipping around players, and he's flying in like feet first, and it's all exciting and funny. Until it's like, actually, when you want a challenge
until you're playing in the Olympics against Spain, you score an own goal in the last minute.
They're easy to like, and they're sort of cult hero-esque. But yeah, for a title challenge or to win the Champions League, I just don't.
I hope Bayer can learn from him and work with him. Same for Lindelof. Learn from him, make yourself a better defender.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Same for Tellez as well. I hope Tellez was poor the other night, but I'm sure we can overlook that for what we're at with his left foot.
Delot was worse than Tellez on Wednesday.
Oh yes,
I felt for Delot. He was getting targeted. He was obviously having a very difficult
Thing is,
game
though,
of it.
he never put a tackle in when he went past him. He just let him pass him.
I know it was the crowd were getting a little bit testy with him, but the crowd steps up and he did in the end. We got the win, but it was difficult.
Can I just say
it was
as well,
difficult to
right,
watch.
on Wednesday, TRA were brilliant in terms of the atmosphere at Old Trafford. I mean,
Well said.
it's been lacking in terms of basically since they've come in, especially on European nights. It's been hard to get an atmosphere going because everyone's been sort of spread out and stuff. But since they've come in, especially, I mean, that Stretford end right side, it was so loud and it was sort of going around the ground as well because I was in the rail seats and because of the atmosphere they were generating, like everyone was stood up. And I know that sounds like a bit of a strange thing to say, but I've been at Old Trafford before where like everyone's just been sat down the whole game, so it's good to see it.
No, it is, and we talked about the TRA earlier today, and I'm a big fan of what they do, and they do things, if you don't know, they do things a bit differently. They encourage people in that section, you have to apply for it, you stand up, you sing, you chant, you don't have your phone out, you don't film, you just get involved, and if you don't want to do any of that, and you don't have to apply for the TAA, but if you do, then you can do, and it's working. The atmosphere, as James said and as Andy said, it has been fantastic, and I think they have to take a big part of credit for that. Paddock R says, why is no one talking about Paddock and McKenna?
Good question.
Do you think, right, because this is an issue or a topic that's been raised a few times about coaching staff, that people saying, it's maybe not Ole that's responsible for some of our poor results. We need better coaches, or we need more, experienced coaches in. When I say experience, I mean in actual coaching at a top level. What do you make of that?
They're all best friends because, like McKenna, did he work with Ole before? Was in reserves?
I mean, I think they've all got sort of ties to the club and they've been around for a little while. Obviously, we know about Carrick and Mike Phelan. I think with coaches, and I say this with any coach, I don't think you know.
No.
I know that sounds like a really weird thing to say, but if you'd have said to me, if you'd have asked me in '99 when Steve McLaren took over from Brian Kidd, do I think Steve McLaren's the right man for the job? I wouldn't have had a clue. I barely knew who he was. When you look at Carlos Queiroz when he came in, is he going to be the one that's going to help us win the Champions League?
Yeah, he was the one.
Yeah,
definitely.
he was, but I didn't know that. And I wouldn't have gone, oh, well, this is it now, we're going to win the Champions League. You just don't know.
René Mullenstein as well.
Yeah.
Until he left United and gave loads of interviews and explained what his job was,
yeah,
no one really knew what he did, because that's the thing with coaches. The good coaches,
yeah,
they're not well known because they do their job properly and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas under Moyes, the reason why he found out about Steve Round, was because it's a bit like political advisors almost. The only reason you find out about people like Dominic Cummings is normally because they're doing a bit of a crap job. They're not supposed to be in the public domain.
No, 100%. You know what? I was thinking about this the other night. We were making subs. I'll never forget when we were playing. I can't remember who we were playing. It might have been Liverpool. And we wanted to make a sub. And I think it was Welbeck or someone's warming up. And Steve Round comes out to go and get him. Like Moyes always said, go and get him. We're bringing him on. And he was stood there going, shouting at him, like, Danny. And another crowd are going, just go and get him. What are you doing? We're like, we're 3-0 down or whatever, and you're messing about.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, Danny, he can't hear me. Oh, it doesn't matter, I'll get him later. What are you doing, man? Come on. Yeah, the Steve Round, Jimmy Lumsden
You need strong management. You need strong
awful.
management. That's what you do. I want to see it. I mean, I want to see. I know Ollie sits on his little keypad and all that, but I want to see Ollie on the touchline barking orders sometimes. I know you see him get irritant now and again on the touchline. But
did you like that about Emery? Because he was going for it on Wednesday especially.
Oh, yeah. That's what I want to see.
He was properly doing all that. You could see
that. When we scored the winner, you could see he was hurt. And I want to see that in the United management. I want to see that in the United team. Not we go again. And we got your back, bro. I want to see it in a positive way. Anger. Positive anger, but...
Positive anger. That's all I say. It's a thing. Look it up. Positive anger.
No, but it channels it. You feed off your failures.
Yeah.
You don't just put it in the cupboard. Oh, it's okay. We go again. Oh, you use the defeat. In Fergie days, you use the defeat. It fucking galvanises you for the next game. You know that.
Yeah, Fergie, one of my favourite Fergie stories was when Chucky told me this one. He was doing his coaching badges at Old Trafford, or United. He was in Carrington. We'd just been beat off the Scousers. He went into Carrington. There's no one there. No one on reception. Goes into the offices. And there's no one there. He thinks, where the fuck is everyone? Went out to the training ground. No one there. There's no one about. He says he can hear a voice in the distance, down coming from the canteen. I think it was. So he's gone down to the canteen. Can hear Fergie's voice. And Fergie basically rounded up everyone the office workers, the ground staff, the coaches, the players, the tea lady, the receptionist, and he got them all in the canteen or wherever it was, and he was just rollicking them all, saying the standards of this club aren't good enough. We shouldn't be getting beat off Liverpool. If you're not happy with that, if you are happy with that, you can go and find another job and all this, and just like...
Poor tea lady.
And he said, Chucky said he stuck his head round the door, saw what was going on, and then just thought, yeah, forget that. He just got off. But that was it, though. It was everyone was on the same page. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, obviously, that's a bit extreme, but if we weren't going to get the results, Fergie didn't just look at the players, he looked at the staff, he looked at the coaches, he looked at everyone. He wanted that ethos at Manchester United to be.
Catholic reception.
Yeah. I don't know if he picked on her, but that's a brave man. Yeah. But yeah, he had to, he had to maintain them standards, and maybe that's sometimes what we need to see. I'm with you, because you look at what McLaren did when he left, very patchy career. Look at Arteta when he left Pep. People go, no, he's the brains of the operation. Especially after he won the FA Cup, and his record since then.
You can be a strong second in command, but you can. What has a strong second in command ever gone into be his own? No, I never seen one.
There's been one. I mean, a lot of the old United coaches.
Well, McLaren won one Dutch title. I'll give him that.
Brian Kidd struggled, didn't he, when he went to Blackburn?
Yeah,
they got relegated.
Carlos Queiroz struggled at Real Madrid.
He ended up at Iran, didn't he? Carlos Queiroz.
He did a very good job at Iran with Iran, actually.
I'm glad you're here, because I wouldn't have a clue about how he did it at Iran.
Especially at the World Cup. I mean, if you go back to 2018, they were a really difficult side to break down. He played very defensively, especially against Portugal as well in that last game. I'm fairly certain it was.
Can I be honest though? Like you're right, right. Obviously, I'll take your word for it. I trust you that he did okay at Iran, but I don't think we can say that Queiroz when he left United.
No. But I mean,
despite doing well in the World Cup with Iran.
But what I'm saying at a club level, I agree with you. But internationally, I think it's different as well with certain managers too. I mean, I think Ronnie Mullenstein when he went to Fulham obviously didn't do a good job, but I think it's like Solskjaer as well when he was at Cardiff. Managers take certain jobs and it's not right for them, and there's other stuff going on. And people always use Solskjaer's example when he was at Cardiff and said, "Oh, relegated Cardiff." Well, hang on a second. Any manager that would have taken that job after Malky Mackay would have got relegated, because this was a club who had an owner in charge that changed the colours and the badge of the kit in the same season and just did all sorts of mad stuff. Do you
remember him booing his own team?
Yeah,
I remember that one. He was booing him. He stood on the touchline or in the executive box booing his own team. That's a great example to set when you're the owner of a football club.
Crazy.
Another topic that's come up during the press conference was the fixtures. Do you remember Everton away last season, where we had the game against Istanbul? We don't need to go talk about that one. And then we played on the Saturday afternoon, early afternoon, and Ollie was fuming, so they set us up to fail. Well, it sort of happened again, and Ollie talks about the fixtures. He says, us and Chelsea played Wednesday night. We could easily have played Sunday, and the Liverpool-Man City should have been a Saturday one. Common sense might not have been so common, unfortunately. Absolutely no explanation. Well, it's TV. It's absolutely no common sense at all. We had the same scenario last year when we played in Turkey and came back and played Everton. What's your take on that, Andy? Is that frustrating for you? Are you bothered about it? Do you think we have been stitched up a little bit from the Wednesday to Saturday early kickoff?
Well, the fixtures are there. I mean, I can understand the frustration, but it's TV. They pay the money. They dictate. They tell the clubs when to play, when to kick off, move games. I mean, I say last week. I said this before. We've had was it 4? I know we've been through a pandemic lockdown. We've had 4 3 o'clocks in the last 2 years, and Man United can't bitch and moan about this because last Saturday was supposed to be a 3 o'clock, and they knew about 2 months in advance there was a concert on the same day at the cricket ground, and he swung it with 2 weeks' notice. So Man United can bitch and moan all they want. They're just as capable. It's the world we live in. And you switch the kickoff to 12:30. When people had plans, they booked hotels, travelling up. People missed that game. Shows how you care. So works both ways, lads. Get on with it.
You got to feel for Ollie though, because he's not. Like you were saying there about the concert, whatever. That's nothing to do with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's got a group of players there that he's trying to get fit and ready for this game. And he must look at it and go, we had this last season, and I flagged it up. And again, this season, it's just from a manager's point of view, you can understand that. Well, I can. Can you understand this?
Yeah, I can understand that, but it's the way the world is now with football. It is.
It's shit planning from the council as well to put that on the same day.
Don't get me started on the councillors will be here all day.
Like, honestly, why would you go, yeah, I know, there's 75,000
Them
people.
bins don't collect themselves. Sorry, go on.
75,000 at Old Trafford and there's
once every 3 weeks for a black bin. Are
and a
you
cricket
crazy?
ground.
Are you mental? How does that work for a family of 5? Sorry, go on.
Mate, this is more important than what I was saying. Continue, please.
I'm only joking anyway.
Salford City Council.
Ours is Salford. I think that's Manchester Council that were the other ones. Right.
Maybe the next time Steve speaks to Andy Burnham, he can raise that on your behalf.
Yeah. Remember that? The political interview we all wanted to see. Stephen Halston and Andy Burnham.
I do miss 3 o'clock kickoffs though. I'm sick of it.
Do you?
Sick of these 12s, especially when you've been working night shift, you have 0 sleep.
I think away matches it's worse. If it's
But you go for the love of it. So
if it's on a Monday night, because that's what annoys me, right? You got
Friday night's even worse.
You got people saying, "Oh, like especially like certain broadcasters when the Super League was all kicking off, saying, "Oh, it's greed and whatever." Like whilst in between wall-to-wall gambling adverts, and then also doing a show on a Monday night, which was purely based on the fact that they knew more people would watch football at that time, and more people in terms of actual match-going fans were completely at a disadvantage because they had their game moved from the weekend purely for TV. Which is like, I don't understand why Sky especially was so surprised when they're going, oh, the Super League. It's like, well, you're the people you're part of the problem. Do you know what I mean?
Everybody wants the cake and eat it. That's what they want.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of get used to it now, don't you? That's a sad indictment of it, really. I'm sort of with you, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's just the way it is. And even though I don't like it, it's, you sort of come to expect it. I nearly fell off the table then.
City get preference because they're Premier League champions.
Is that no? I think with that, the City Liverpool game, obviously, that was
picked.
for the TV one. That's the bigger one for the TV thing.
We never got preference when we were champions.
I think we did.
Nah.
I mean, United's still the biggest draw on the telly. Do you know what I mean? So
hated, adored, never ignored.
Exactly. This is it's whether you whether you agree with it or not. United are always going to sort of be one of those that have to get their games moved ourselves for the telly, and see other teams doing it as well that can negatively affect it. So you get it from both sides. Sometimes your games are moved, sometimes other games are moved, which means yours is stuck in the silly
I do remember one at Christmas, was it? They tried to play Everton on a Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And Alex Ferguson told, was it the Sports Channel where to go?
Really?
Oh, yeah, it was 2008, 2009. No, sorry, 07, 08. I remember it. Yeah, they wanted to play on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, you can't play Christmas Eve.
It was like they wanted to play about 5 o'clock on a Christmas Eve. I do remember it. We won with a last minute penalty as well.
Who was that against, sorry?
Everton.
Oh, so you what?
I was working, I missed it. So
no, mate, it's always the way. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think of the fixtures. Let us know what you think about the fact that Marcus Rashford is coming back as well. How much you're looking forward to seeing him? I take it looking forward to seeing him. What do you think? Sorry to go backwards slightly. I just want to touch on it quickly on Jadon Sancho because we've all sort of mentioned him. But
I thought you were going to say Van der Beek again.
No, God, no. That's
Can we talk about the bins instead, please?
Yeah, let's go back to the once every 3 week black bin collection. No, with Jadon Sancho, I wouldn't say maybe a little bit of stick, some more questioning about him. Gareth Southgate's commented on it, said that he's not had the greatest of spell, but he's in the squad anyway, which that's the most Gareth Southgate statement I've ever heard in my life. Do you think it's going to be a hindrance to him at all now that he's got Marcus Rashford coming into the squad? Or do you think the fact that Marcus is his mate, as you mentioned, Andy, that could be the little boost he needs?
They should thrive on it and work off each other because I believe in Jadon Sancho. I know the Bundesliga is more fast, more, you see the passes. I've seen him in it last season. He finished 4th. They squeezed into the Champions League.
He was a big part of that as well.
And he won a German Cup a few days later. So
that's a rarity, isn't it, for Dortmund?
Yeah, it's a Dortmund. Same with Ronaldo.
People forget that.
Ronaldo were desperate to get the Champions League. They finished 4th. A few days later, they beat Atalanta and won the Italian Cup. So your momentum is everything, and I'm just scared for Jadon. I don't want him going the same way with the Donny scenario. I don't want that. And that's what's concerning me. I don't think it will, but he's a young kid. You just got to give him time. I mean, look,
I think you're right. I think one thing
Bellingham
we
Dortmund,
forget.
He's ripping it up in a dark.
He is, and like you said,
if he comes to another team, is he gonna? He'll suffer.
What you said there about the German league, though, now it is obviously different. And Jadon Sancho's only 21. He's still got to get used to the Premier League. Still got to get used to English football.
He played at City as well before he went to Germany. So his upbringing in that aspect, his football upbringing, is in academy football in England, which I know is different to Germany, but it's not like he's been played in a completely different country the whole time. He's gone to the Bundesliga to improve as a footballer, and he's done pretty well out of it. And he's came back, and I think that's a bit of a disgrace almost on City's behalf that their players have to leave to go to Germany to get game time because they won't be given them in their own team.
It is a shame that City produce talent and they don't make the first team, and they win the Youth Cup and move on. Same with Chelsea.
Yeah, I think that's the sort of MO for some of them clubs, is just to get a lot of youngsters in, especially from all over the world as well, and from all of different parts of England or whatever, and then move them on. I mean, if it works out for us, I'm not going to be. I'm not going to moan about it, to be honest with you, because I think Jadon Sancho is an immense talent, and I can't wait to see him when he kicks in at gear. There's no rush. Seriously, I think we're fortunate that we've got other attacking options that are producing as well. So I think we might just need to show a little bit of patience, Jadon Sancho. Not a lot, but even if it takes him another couple of months or whatever, there's no, what I mean, we don't need to panic. This is a guy that could be at Manchester United for the next decade.
It sounds obvious, but he's a big improvement on Dan James as well. In that position.
You know what? You say it sounds obvious, though. Yeah. But I've seen some people who argue that Dan James is better, but that's nonsense. Right. Peter Kelly in the Super Chat says there was supposed to be a rule for this season. If you play in Europe on Wednesday, you don't play the 12:30 Saturday. Well, it seems that rule only applies when Manchester United are in town. Well, it doesn't apply, whatever it is. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys, because I think we've spoken about Donny van der Beek. We've spoken about the fixture stitch up. We've spoken about James Young's throwing his United We Stand fanzine onto the table there.
Buy United We Stand.
Yeah, James, are you going to be outside the ground selling it?
No, I won't be selling it.
That's how I used to stand when I used to sell it.
Right.
Hey, I used to stand.
You can keep that free copy.
There you go. Go and check it out. Yeah. United We Stand. They'll be outside the ground on match days, and if you can't get it, you can get it online. If you can't get down to the stadium, you can get it online.
uwsonline.com. That's the.
Andy Mitten will be proud of you. Hey, seriously, doing well there. Where can people find you, James?
I'm at Twitter at James Young TV, and also in there as well. In United.
What are you writing about in here?
It was about in that current issue. I wrote a great piece on why.
Well, I'll be the judge whether it's great. Thank you. Just tell me what it is.
The unpredictability of football and why NFL's boring as a result, and I compared Tom Brady with Ronaldo.
Wow.
Right, well, I'll be looking at that's a bit of bedtime reading for me tonight. There you go. So make sure you're checking out United We Stand. Make sure you're checking out James Young. Andy, where can people find you?
Instagram. I have a love for football, and you've got to understand how I play.
How you play?
How I see the game.
Positive anger is, I think,
people criticise.
MO.
You love me or you hate me. It's your choice.
Hey, loved or adored.
Make the call.
Andy Tate is never ignored with his positive anger. That's something you can all.
It's only a game.
Tap into. So make sure you check
the
it
name
out.
of Andy Tate's autobiography, Positive Anger.
Yeah. If you had an autobiography, what would it be called, Andy?
Life is. You know what I mean?
What?
Life is.
Life is.
Life is. Dot.
Yeah. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
On that cheery note, don't forget as well.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Right,
that's
better.
No, that's not
what
you
that.
said. You can't have that. That's something else.
I'm Andy Tate. I can say what I want.
Right,
it's too long for a book.
Right. Don't forget to check out Paddock merch. Paddockmerch.com. We've got all the t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve t-shirts. Make sure as well that you're subscribing. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers.
Happy Nigerian Independence Day to all of our Nigerian viewers today, 1st of October.
This has been the Brew. That's been Andy Tate. That's been James Young. I've been Jay Motti. Thanks for watching.